Okay, so this is my body circuit and this is how it's wired. So it starts with the power source here, and this is a battery because I've got a number of cells here that work together as one power source, so it's my battery. So it's going to flow through the positive end and go through my different devices, change from chemical energy in the batteries to electrical energy, go through the devices, and in this case turn into sound energy from the buzzer, turn into light energy in light bulbs, and turn into kinetic energy from the motor. Then it's going to flow back through the negative end of all the devices and ultimately come back to lead to the negative end of the battery. Now specifically, my body circuit has two components. I have an upper component and a lower component. So they're all wired to one power pack, but I'll explain them to you this way. Okay, so the first of all, my energy is coming from my battery pack into this switch here. This switch I have wired to turn off or on the whole system. And as you can see here, it's wired in parallel because I have 4 different alligator clips, and the energy is going to flow equally through all 4 of those alligator clips because they're in parallel. So this black one here, the first one, he goes down to my lower component, which we'll come back to. Then this one here, he is switched to a switch that turns off and on my buzzer. So the energy goes into my buzzer and then flows out through here and is ultimately coming back to my switch, which is my tweezers. The next alligator clip I have here is the next red one, and it's wired to my light bulbs, which are wired in series. It has its switch as well to turn it off and on, and it's wired in series, so it goes in one light bulb, out the negative end, in the positive end of this light bulb, and out the negative end, and again back to ultimately connected to my switch, which is the tweezers. And the last one here is the green one, which is connected to my motor, and it has a switch as itself as well. Comes in the positive end, out the negative, and again ultimately back to my switch that is the tweezers. Now in order to complete that circuit, I need this, which is the negative end of all my devices, to come back to the negative end of my battery. Now in order to do that, we have a little bit tricky thing here. So here's the negative end of my battery. This yellow alligator clip is hooked to the back end of the back side of this man, and he's got the aluminum foil on the back of him. The al foil on the back is connected to the al foil on the sides of all these different holes here. And now in order to complete that circuit, I need to touch my switch, i.e. my tweezers, to the side of that to complete my unit. And then the circuit is complete, and ultimately it's coming back to the negative end here. Now I'm going to show you how that all works, because all these things can work together and separately. Okay, so I turn on the main power source. Then I'm going to show you everything working together first. So I turn everything on. Everything's hooked up here. Okay, so when I complete my circuit, we should be able to hear everything, see the motor moving, and the light come on. And there we go. Okay, good. Now I can show you how everything works separately as well. I'll start with the buzzer. I'll turn off my lights that are motored and my motor. So there's my motor working alone. This is my light bulbs working alone, my light bulbs in series, 2 light bulbs. And again, this can work with any of these because they're all attached to the al foil in the back. And finally, my motor. Okay, good. Now the bottom component of my circuit, again, starts with this black wire. He comes down here. And this switch, I have a switch here that allows me to choose which channel the energy is going to flow through based on where I connect the metal, where the metal is conducted. So I can choose the respiratory system, which lights up here, the digestive system, which lights up here, the circulatory system, which lights up here, and my nervous system up here. Now, if we look at how this is wired on the back, I've got them color-coded. So ultimately, they're all doing the same sort of thing. They're coming through here, the power energy, depending on which one is connected through the paper clip. The energy is flowing through these wires. They're coming in and out the various light bulbs, out in the positive, out the negative, ultimately coming back up to here. And again, we need to complete the circuit, we need to get back to the negative side of my battery. So all these blue wires, all the wires are connected here, which I've made into one black wire, which in the end comes back to the negative end of my battery and makes a complete circuit. So that is how the body circuit works.